What's up, everybody? I'm Caleb Ochoa, also known as NFL Caleb 22, and this is Betting the NFL week number 18. We are finally at the last week of the season, and as always, I'm with my co-host Derek Wesley, also known as DWeezy. What's going on, man?
What's going on? We're finally reached the end of what to me the season's flown by. I think we say it, every year, but we anticipate these weeks. It's definitely, it's been a few months, but it feels, like a blink of the eye. We was just getting into, the opening weeks, feeling out where teams were, and here we are, week 18.
Yeah, and that just means just less and less chances for us to make money, for y'all to make money, but we're still gonna try our best to uh, get make as much money as we can with the last few weeks that we got. But this is the hardest week, man. This is the hardest week to bet because we have the least amount of information to go on. Considering some teams, we don't know how hard teams are going to play. We don't know what teams are going to have something to play for. The way things shake out, it's just a lot, and even know what players are going to be in, what teams are going to start their guys or not going to start their guys. This week is the most difficult week to bet on because the key to betting is having all the information. And if you don't have all the information, it's just really hard to make a bet either way. You agree with that?
Oh, most definitely. We get accustomed in football to having enough time to adjust to injuries and updates, and we don't typically sweat how long it might be for a team is putting out their injury report. um it's more common in other sports that play on a more daily frequency, where you really feel the pressure of those injury reports. So, you know having all that information is crucial. Just looking over a few lines that we're seeing this week, at first glance, you might be thinking in the back of your head, WTF, why is this line like that? Well, the first thing you might want to try and do is find out who may be sitting or not sitting in these games.
Absolutely. All right. Before we get into our picks for the week, we always start by um, recapping the week and what happened in week 17. And we'll start with the favorites. And straight up, they went 11-4, 161, 92, and 2 overall. Against the spread, we saw the underdogs have the edge. They went as the favorites went 7-8, 108, 139, and 8 as the underdogs have a overwhelming majority, have a large majority of the wins. Home teams, at least against the spread, home teams straight up 9-6, didn't do so well as they usually do. 137, 107, and 2 overall. But against the spread, they really didn't do that great. Just 8-7 against the spread in week 17, 112, 140, and 2. So all season, we've seen the away teams have the advantage over the home teams, at least against the spread, which is really surprising to see. You usually think that's why I'm saying that's why I asked you the question. I forget which week it was that I asked you a question. How much does home field advantage? Does home field match advantage still? Um, is it still as big a deal as it has been in the past? And I think we've seen this year that the way teams have hit a lot against the spread this season. Do you still feel that that the way you felt before the season when I asked you that question?
Yes, I would definitely have to probably lean the same way, that at least from a even standpoint, if we're talking about two teams being similar, um, the home team is going to have a slight edge having that. Now, this, of course, doesn't apply to every team that you come across. Some teams play extremely well at home. Some teams don't, and for whatever reason, play extremely well on the road. So it is the type of thing that can vary, but there's a reason. And we see it even to this day. Teams value home field advantage. You see teams play for that number one seed because they know every game in the playoffs that they play, it will be in their house. Their players will have their comforts, the sights and sounds that they know. So it may not be the factor that makes or breaks a game, but it can definitely be something that you might want to keep in mind when handicapping a game.
Uh, just say what's up to Ravens online gatekeepers, and he says I need some bets, and we're going to give them to you right after we recap this week. Um, but finally, we got the over and unders. Unders once again have the edge 7 and 8. 111, 142, and 2 overall. Obviously, the unders have been hitting all year, and that was no different in week 17. But next, I will start with the biggest upset of the week, and that came in the New Orleans Saints at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles were -6. Final score was 20-10. And it's just another week without Jalen Hurts and another loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. This time, they were a 6-point favorite at home against a bad Saints team. The Eagles couldn't get really much going on offense. They went 3-and-out, 4 straight drives to start the game. Their first down came with 12 seconds left in the first half. The final 3 drives weren't very good either. They had 2 turnover on downs and a pick six that sealed the game for the New Orleans Saints. The Saints also kind of struggled to score points on offense. Uh, the Dalton was pretty accurate for the most part, but he did throw a pick. The defense pretty much won it for them. And one last great effort before being eliminated by the Bucks winning the division. But what do you think about this game overall?
I think this game clarified just how important Jalen Hurts is to the Philadelphia Eagles. Um, I mean, it's really just that simple because Gardner Minshew, yes, it can be difficult coming in a backup situation. And given what we've seen out of him in the past, the performances that we've gotten out of the past couple of games are right on par with what we've seen in his history. And, you know, with a player like Jalen Hurts, you clearly see just how dynamic and how greatly a single player can affect the team. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say that Philly's built their offense around Hurts or his, ability to affect teams in the run game, but it's definitely something they utilize and it's something they lean on at times. And we in everyday football, you talk about trying to limit a team and make them one dimensional. And if that means a player being out limits a team's play calling or possible options of what they can lean on, then you're whittling down those different dimensions of the offense. And that's going to make it extremely difficult in the NFL.
Yeah, I was just happy to see the Eagles lose twice. That makes me happy seeing that. Uh,
The hate, the
so,
hate.
uh, uh, oh, what's up?
Oh no, just the hate. You gotta love that.
Yeah,
The interdivision hate that exists. It's lovely.
yeah, and they are the team I hate the most. But we'll move on to the largest cover against the spread, and that came in the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. Lions were -5.5. Final score was 41-10. Coming off a bad loss to the Panthers, the Detroit Lions took all that frustration out on their division rivals, and it was a great way to bounce back for them. It kept their playoff hopes alive. They've won 7 out of the last 9 games. They did it with a big offensive explosion. They went over 500 total yards. They put up 41 points, And as most teams who faced the Bears defense, they ran all over them. 265 team rushing yards, and Goff played pretty well, threw 3 touchdowns, no picks. And the Bears, lost a franchise record of 9 straight losses. And Justin Fields was really good running the ball, had 132 rushing yards, but was really bad at passing the ball. Was just went 7 of 21 for 75 yards, touchdown, and an interception. The Lions will need to beat the Packers and have the Seahawks lose if they want to make the playoffs. But what do you think about this game last week?
It was a game where I was, on the other side of the outcome, having the Bears. I, I'm not shocked that Detroit was able to put up the points they did. I was just looking at a couple of things. For the most part, it was a fairly close game going into halftime. But unfortunately, Chicago wasn't able to limit the turnovers. They had a fumble and an interception apiece. They were clearly able to move the ball to some degree in the running game. They put up 200 yards total, but not being able to put up points and punch it in the end zone, you clearly see how they weren't able to keep up with. Um, I don't want to call Detroit's offense high powered, but they're definitely showing they know how to find the end zone. That's for sure.
Yeah, but they've been able to score points all year. That's kind of just what they've been doing. Um, it's just they stepped a little bit on defense against this Bears team at least. So that's something good for them. But next, we will get to the bad beat of the week, and that came in the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. Patriots from -3. Final score was 21-23, and the late backdoor cover strikes again in this one. With just 2:25 left on the clock, Patriots as a 3-point favorite at home were up by 10 points and just need to stop them to at least a field goal to cover the spread. Yet the Patriots defense let third string quarterback Skylar Thompson have a 9-play, 61-yard drive for a touchdown that didn't even give them the lead, only allowed them to cover the spread. They were really they were already playing the backup in Teddy Bridgewater. Then he got hurt, so they were down to the third quarterback. So the Patriots really should have had a more dominant victory than they had. But I mean, the Patriots at least could have covered the 3-point spread, but they couldn't do that, and that's why it is the Dolphins cover by just a point, and that's why it is the bad beat of the week.
Yes, you always hate to see, a play on the spread come down to half a point or a point. Those are the sweats you hate because you can see it coming. You're sitting there, you're going through all the outcomes in your head. If they score this, then I'll be in this situation. If that gets scored, this is what I need to happen. And, you know, it wouldn't be called a bad beat if it wasn't just that. And, that's what it comes down to. A razor sharp margin where a point in the wrong direction, you're staring at a loss instead of a winning ticket.
I just want to say what's up to Davon. Um, I'll go over my personal recap of my bets, and I didn't do too well. Pretty bad. Uh, I went 1-3. I did have the Bengals and Bills game. Obviously, that was canceled due to uh, the what happened to Damar Hamlin. Um, so obviously, my record stays at 4 games only, but my overall record is 39-42-3. So hopefully, this last week get me back up um, in the positive category. But my best pick um, was my only win, and that was my Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. Packers were -3, and final score was I think it was 41-17. I think it was. And then yeah, with how the Packers were playing, um, and going into this game with four straight wins, I felt really good about this one. Felt confident in this pick because they were playing Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins did Kirk Cousins things. He went 18-31, 205 yards, touchdown, but they threw three picks, and they couldn't run the ball either. Cook only had 27 yards. This was the Packers playing much better defense in recent weeks. They caused four turnovers, and the Packers focus on the run game has worked, as Rodgers didn't really have to do much in this game. I think he threw for less than 200 yards, and the Packers looking good going into the final week, where all they have to do is win, and they are in the playoffs. And my worst pick was the Cleveland Browns at the Washington Commanders. Commanders were -1.5. Final score was 24-10. And I think I just, had more faith in Watson playing worse than Wentz in this game. And my gamble just didn't pay off. Wentz was completely terrible, 16 of 28, 143 yards, and three of the
You could
worst
say
interceptions
Wentz
you will ever
did
see.
Wentz like
Um,
things.
yes, definitely. But Watson wasn't really that great either, despite him having three touchdowns. But he really wasn't that great throwing the ball. 9 of 18, 169, 169 yards. Not that great there. But obviously he had Mari Cooper he's throwing to, and he had a hell of a day with just three catches. He netted 105 yards and two touchdowns. And I thought the Commanders could stop Chubb a little bit better than they did. But when your offense just keeps giving the ball away, your defense is eventually going to get worn down. And with this loss, Washington got eliminated with this loss, and the Packers winning their game. So that was a bad ending to their season. But how did you do last week in Week 17?
Um, in the NFL, I ended up roughly about 500. I went 2-3 on my picks here. I was able to capitalize on a game total under in Baltimore. Um, I, b- I believe it was under. I had a live and pregame under that came in on that game total. But I do have to say, quite possibly, my best pick on the week was taking those Browns because, as you said, they cleared. When it was all said and done, this was a game that looked like it may have never been in doubt, but it was not the case going into halftime. This was a 7-3 game with Washington in the lead, and teams make adjustments. Browns came out, seemed to find that switch to make them go, and proceeded to put up 21 points in the second half, I believe, and basically coasted to a easy win on such a short spread.
All right. Um, Before we get into week number 18, um, we like to help you guys out. If you guys can help us out by hitting that like button, subscribing to this channel if you have not already, and join our Patreon if you really want to support us. The link is in the description down below. And yeah, just join whatever tier that suits you. But if you guys, like I said, definitely like to help you guys out, win some money. Help us out by doing those things. Be very much appreciated. Um, but now we will get to the week's no this week's bets of the final week of the season. And I'm gonna start with the Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are -2.5, and Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. I don't think he will start this year. Having won 6 out of the last 8 has put the Steelers in a position to make the playoffs. Although they will need some of these go their way, they may struggle to score points, but Kenny Pickett does make plays when he has to. He did so against the Ravens last week, leading two 80-yard drives to take the lead in that game. and then ultimately winning it. Despite Watson throwing 3 touchdowns, I don't think he, like I said, I don't think he played very well in the game. He hasn't played well since he became the starter. And their main weapon is Nick Chubb, and he will have to face the sixth ranked rushing defense in the league in the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And Pittsburgh is 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. So I really and like I said, they have something to play for. Browns don't. So I like the Steelers in this one.
All right. The first play I have this week, and this is maybe one that you don't like because it's in your division, but I'm going to be going with the New York Giants. Now, y'all have heard us talk about these large spreads before. Um, I do believe that the Giants are a team that will come into this game with the mentality, regardless of any sort of playoff situation. This is the Philadelphia Eagles. These teams don't like each other. Expect a fight on your hands. It's likely we don't see Jalen Hurts in this game, in my opinion. If we do, it would be in a highly limited role. But 14 and a half points, double digit spreads is something we've talked about throughout this season. And I'm gonna ride with the Giants plus 14. And something I was even looking at, it's a flat number at plus 14. You might even be able to get the hook at, a slight bump in the juice. And if you're paying minus 110 for 14, it's not much different than possibly minus 120, minus 125 to get that hook, just in case. Y'all heard us talking about it
Um,
earlier. A bad beat may come down to that half a point.
Yeah, well, you said I wouldn't like this one, but I love this one because I'm right there with you on the same pick. Yeah, I love the New York Giants in this spot. I'm gonna take Brian Dayball's word. He said he was gonna start his starters, even though they don't have nothing to play for. Um, I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna say they can start play their starters, and like you said, we mentioned it many times. It's basically a theme of the season of this betting the NFL season that the underdogs are favored in these big point spreads in the divisional matchups, especially against with two winning teams facing off against each other. It just always hits on the underdog every time, pretty much it seems like. And Giants coming off a big game against the Colts, they put up 38 points, clinched his playoff spot. The Eagles coming off 2 straight losses. The last one against the Saints, where they scored just 10 points. And like you said, it's still unknown whether Jalen Hurts will play or not. But even if he does, I don't think he'll be 100%. The Giants have been great against the spread, going 5-1 in the last 6 games, 12-4 overall for the season. Eagles not so good against the spread, especially recently, going just 3-6 in their last 9 games. So yeah, definitely like the Giants plus 14 in that one. All right, for my next pick, I
Well,
do
hold on. I
have
got to get
my
into my
Dallas
second pick.
Cowboys.
Hold on.
My
I got to get into my second pick.
oh yeah, I did skip
Yeah.
you. I thought
So,
you're
all
right.
right.
You're right.
And
All right,
as you heard
my bad.
Caleb saying, double digit point spreads have definitely been a thing. And if you look, you see another one up. And I'll be riding with the Arizona Cardinals plus 14 as they take on the 49ers. Um, it's going to be highly questionable just exactly how much personnel, as far as, a starting roster we see coming out of the 49ers. I definitely think they are a team to be less concerned with seeding, if that's even a possibility to be affected by this game, because we've seen this team go into places before, whether it be on the road or at home. Um, so 14, 14 points is a lot. It's an NFL game. I'll gladly take the 14, walk away, come check the score later.
All right. Um, what's going on? Let's bring hot take. Um, oh, and we got. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's some messed up shit.
That's all right. I thrive off hate. I can dig it.
But we'll get to my next pick. Well, I'm with you on the Cardinals. I really need that to happen. Obviously, wish the Cardinals would just win the damn game, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. But hell, at least they can if they can cover, that'd be good enough. At least betting wise. But for my next pick, I have the Dallas Cowboys minus 5.5 at the Washington Commanders. Uh, the Cowboys still have a lot to play for. They can either be the 1, the 2, or the 5 seed with a chance to win the division, depending on whether the Eagles win. But they will not know if that is the case because both games are scheduled at the same time. Washington has been an absolute mess for the past 3 weeks. They only scored 12 points against the Giants, 10 points against the Browns last week, and it didn't matter who was starting at quarterback, whether Wentz or Heineke. They struggled on offense. This week, they're going to go with the third string quarterback, rookie Sam Howell, making his first start of his career. So that don't seem very good to me. Um, in the 10 games that Dak has been back from his injury, the Cowboys have scored 24 points or more in every game. Even when they didn't play very well last week um, against the Titans, they were still able to cover a pretty big spread as a road team on Thursday Night Football. The Cowboys are 10-6 for the season against the spread and 6-2 against Washington in the last 8 matchups against them. Washington has been terrible against the spread lately, going just 1-4 in their last 5 games. So yeah, I really like my Cowboys in this spot.
Yes, I would definitely. I'm not on this game specifically, but looking at this, I would have to lean with the Cowboys in this matchup. Um, there's a whole bunch of dysfunction going on in Washington. I mean, there's a number of different points that you could highlight as to maybe what the issues are. It's definitely a hole at quarterback that needs to be filled that they haven't seemed to be able to figure out as an organization, at least in my entire lifetime. I think, yes, they had some success back in the Kirk Cousin years, but even still, I don't think people would say they had the position figured out because of the way things unfolded and took place. I don't think anybody that was a fan of the team at the time could say, you know, they felt comfortable about the QB position. So in that instance, man, just go the other way. As you said, for a number of weeks now, they've not only been struggling to put up points, the defense has struggled more, I think, over the past few weeks in comparison to earlier in the season. That may just be a factor of nutrition as the year is taken on, and you get that wear and tear that comes with the grind of football. So yeah, I would definitely have to lean with the Cowboys in this game. And moving into my next pick, the first two plays I was on the underdog in those divisional situations. Well, in this instance, I'm gonna be riding with the Seahawks as they're -6.5, taking on the Rams, who, yes, the Rams I think have played above expectations since picking up Baker Mayfield, but I do also think that Seattle is going to be coming in motivated. I'm, I mean, for a team that everybody pretty much wrote off at the beginning of the season. I'll say it. I did it. I wrote him off. I wrote off Geno Smith, and he's correct, folks. He did not write back.
That boy
So,
did so.
yeah, you know, but going into this game, I definitely think that, the Seahawks are definitely a solid touchdown favorite team. I don't think the line's wrong. You know, at the beginning of the year, you wouldn't have expected this to be the team that was favored by almost a touchdown in this matchup. But I do think that Seattle's going to go out there and be able to score, and it's going to be a question of can the Rams keep up offensively for that 6.5 to not get covered when it's all said and done.
Yeah, it's a little bit too big of a spread. Obviously, every single um, game this week is a divisional matchup, and so looking at a -6, it's a little too much for me. Um, to pick the Seahawks. I do believe they will win the game, but it's tough to say in those divisional matchups to cover a spread like that. But I will get to my next pick, which is the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are -4.5. The Green Bay controls what happens to last remaining spot in the NFC playoffs, since they will jump Seattle and eliminate the Lions by beating them. The Seahawks play before this game, since this game was flexed to Sunday Night Football. If the Seahawks win, the Lions will be eliminated and they got nothing to play for. I think the Packers have all the momentum going into this game. They got a big win against the Vikings, blowing them out 41-17. They have been playing better on defense and relying more on their run game. I think um, they they will give Goff some problems. They have the third ranked passing defense in the league. The Packers are 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games. I like the Packers to cover the 4.5 points there. I think like I said, I think the Seahawks, like I just said, I think the Seahawks will win. Therefore, the Lions don't really have much to play for, and Packers will have everything to play for. So I like the Packers going into this game.
Now, I got a bit of a conspiracy theory for you. So I'm curious what you think. Now, we
All
all
right.
know the drama and everything that we saw take place last season. Most of it not really unfolding till at least around the midway point. But coming into this season, there was a lot of questions between Aaron Rodgers and the team, and would it be absurd that what better way to screw over the Green Bay Packers than to get them all the way to the doorstep of making the playoffs and then just going out there and laying an egg? I mean, if we've seen Aaron Rodgers show. I I don't know the man, so I don't want to call him petty, but he definitely enjoys trying to stick it to people when they're wrong, and at times he will try and own up to taking his lumps. So I'm just curious how much something like that may play into you know that line of thinking. Now to get into this game, I'm gonna be on the other side with the +4.5. No conspiracy thinking at all, but I do like the Lions having a chance coming into this game, playing for an opportunity to make the playoffs. Something that I'm pretty sure they may have been selling that dream in the locker room, but when nobody buying that dream outside of Detroit, I can tell you that much. And here they are, and that's the worst thing you can do for a team that's been desperate for hope and quite possibly has found it. Um, so yes, going into this game, given the uncertainties that I've seen out of Green Bay over the course of the season, we've seen Detroit put up many points week to week, and I would not be shocked to see Detroit go out and put up points. And it could be, question of how well can Green Bay keep up in this game, because it's been the offensive side that they've seemed to struggle most, whether it's punching the ball into the end zone or moving the ball downfield. Now, as you said, we've seen them not necessarily fix, but turn around those issues in the past couple of weeks. So I think there's a very high potential that we get a good game out of these two teams. And, you know, don't write off the Lions because hope is a dangerous thing, and this team has hope. So I'm gonna be riding with the plus 4.5.
But you have the Seahawks covering the spread, so that means you think they're going to win. So Lions won't have a chance at the playoffs, but you still like them.
Yeah, because it's that mindset going into the game. Like when you're even if the timing is
You don't feel like
before.
they're going to have like a disappointing mindset.
Well, no, but all the preparation and effort they've put in days in advance isn't going to be affected. They know going into this, up until Sunday, basically they've already put in all the work and things of that nature. So, yes, their temperament and mindset in the live moment may be affected, but I think the drive and mindset that they're going to experience throughout the week, getting ready for games, you know, they're going to take every walkthrough more seriously than they've taken at any other point in the season because it may not change what happens game day, but as an athlete in that position, you want to know that you did everything possible. You want to know that you watched every second of footage that you could. You went through every drill and exercise and practice that you could to put you in the right position to make that play because you may be in a situation where that the playoffs come down to you making a single play or not making it. So having that mindset throughout the week going into Sunday, I think will outweigh the potential of knowing that that playoff hope doesn't exist even while they're playing the game.
All right. I'll get to my final pick, and that is the New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. And since the spread is only 1 point, I'm going to take the Dolphins on the money line. And the money line is minus 112. I'm taking the Dolphins because they're the home team with still a chance to make the playoffs if they win. The Jets are already eliminated from playoff contention. They have nothing to play for going to this game. They were really bad last week, even with getting Mike White back as their
Oh no, you
starter.
mean the
He completed
great
only
Mike White
50%.
didn't work out?
Nah, didn't work out for them. He threw for 50% out of his 46 passes, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The Jets only scored 6 points against the Seahawks, and the Seahawks defense isn't that great, especially against the pass. Um, so the Jets struggling is really really bad. The Jets' way to win is to play good defense and run the ball, and they didn't do either last week. Kenneth Walker ran for 133 yards on them. Jets only ran for 74 yards as a team. I think the Jets are packing it in this week, which gives I think that gives the Dolphins the advantage. And obviously, we're still not sure who's going to start for the Dolphins at quarterback. But I think I still think they're going to put everything into this game. I think they're tired of losing. They've been on a horrible losing streak, and I think whatever they have left in them, they're going to put into this game. And I think they're going to come out with a win. That's why I only have them on the money line. And the Jets are just 1-4 in the last five against the spread. Obviously, doesn't matter here. They just need to win. So the Dolphins just need to win. So I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one.
Yeah, looking at these two teams, even if it was a situation where we didn't see Tyreek Hill and Waddle for portions or maybe even the whole game, I would still probably have to lean to the Dolphins in this situation. You're probably talking about, especially on defense, in my opinion, probably a more talented roster. Um, Offensively, at least currently, they're probably well. I don't know the Jeff Wilson situation. There's enough talent on that offense in Miami that, given the quarterback situation and the fact that they're going up against the Jets, I would likely have to, lean the same way with you there. Being able to target the money line at such a low price in this situation because it's a 1 point spread definitely gives you that added advantage of just going for the win outright. So that would, I definitely feel that that's probably the strongest play there. And as I move into my last play this week, we got
All right.
the Buffalo Bills -6.5. I feel the Bills come into this game. Yes, they're going to have heavy hearts, but I do feel this is the type of team that they're going to come in this not to say that they're going to go out there and win it for their teammate, but they're going to come in with a desire and passion that probably few teams get to experience. This is the type of motivation where rarely do players have a drive to excel for perfection and literally mean it. But I feel in a game like this, this is a team that beforehand you didn't see a lot of distractions, a lot of that noise and congestion that you see out of some teams that face, whether it be dysfunction or maybe even a clash of personalities. That's something that you don't hear about coming out of Buffalo. Um, and so I really feel that this team is going to come together and in this matchup, under a touchdown, taking on the New England Patriots, a team that has shown that they've struggled to score and put up points on the year, understandably, considering they have a defensive coordinator basically calling their offensive plays, but that's another story. And the Buffalo Bills coming into this game, they're still going to have Josh Allen. They're still going to have Stephon Diggs. They're still going to be the same threat from an X's and O's standpoint that they've been. And I honestly don't think that -6.5 is a small enough spread for this game.
Um, yeah, this spread just really concerned me on this one. I don't doubt that they're gonna come out inspired, like you said. Um, they've dealt with a lot of adversity throughout the season. They had to move a game to Detroit. It's an home game. There's stuff like that has gone through that they've been dealing with a lot of weather stuff with the Bills, and now dealing with this. Um, what happened to Damar Hamlin on Monday night. So it could go either way. It could be like a distraction for them going into this game and they're not being ready to play, or like you said, it could be very inspirational. I do believe that is going to be the case, and they're going to win the game. I just don't know if they with the Patriots, like Patriots still have a chance to playoffs. They're going to put everything they got into winning this game. I think it's going to be closer than what the spread suggests. That's why I could not pick the game on either side, but I do think the Bills will win the game. All right,
Yeah, that was
and
my last
yeah,
pick.
that'll be all right. That's your last pick. All right, well then that is all of our picks for the week, um, and that will wrap up the show for the last week of the for the regular NFL season.
Yeah,
We're still
yes,
gonna
because we
we're still gonna be
we
back
will
in the
be here for
playoffs.
the playoffs.
Yeah, we're still gonna be here for all the way through the Super Bowl. Um, trying to make you money. Make your money as always. There'll just be less games to pick from, which makes it even harder. But we're gonna try our best. We're gonna make you money. We're gonna make us money. But for now, you can tell the people where they can find you, DWeezy.
Yes, folks, y'all can reach me at Backyard Action Media on YouTube, also on TikTok, where I'm currently putting out a lot of NBA action as we got a lot of, almost daily games. So definitely check in on that, folks, where I got at least a play or two going up for the NBA. And you can also reach me on Twitter at the Yard Bets.
All right, and you can find me at NFL Caleb 22 on Instagram and Twitter. You can find my articles that go along with this show on our website at letsgetreadynetwork.com. And you can where else you can find me on this channel doing good friends better rivals with my co-host Ferris Mutana. We didn't have a show this week because Ferris is getting lost in the woods somewhere. Hopefully he survives and he'll be back for next week.
Yes, yes.
Because
Hopefully Ferris
Cowboys
comes
and
back in
Giants
one piece.
are going to. Yeah, so hopefully he'll be back because like I said, Cowboys, Giants, both in the playoffs. So we'll be talking about them for as long as they stay alive in them. Hopefully, we my Cowboys make a Super Bowl, so we have content all throughout them. But for now, like I said, subscribe to the channel, like if you haven't. And thank you all for watching. It's been a great regular season to try to win some money. Glad y'all were here for it. And like I said, we keep going in the playoffs, and we'll see you next week. And as always, as I always say, let's get ready to make some money.